Hi there, hope everyone's well. Just back from an A2 test day, a best of 4 test day. So took a group out, Himalayan, CRF300 Rally, Euro 5 GS310 and a KTM 390 Adventure. 3 riders plus myself, 4 bikes, swapping throughout the day. Always gives people a good idea of what they like about the different bikes and hopefully helps them make a decision on what they want to buy. Today, the final results were 2 favoured the Himalayan, 1 favoured the CRF300 Rally, which is, and it's always interesting listening to people's rationale and decision making and logic, because I think what's clear to take from a day like today is that all these bikes have merit. It's not like there's a bad bike here. There's just different bikes with 4 very different personalities. I think starting on the right hand side, so the KTM 390 Adventure, people just they think it's got great power, it's great on the road, it's an exciting bike to ride. One of the guys today who was erring towards the Himalayan before he even arrived, he liked the CRF300, but he rode the KTM and he was really impressed by it. He really was excited by its power. And he found it all most comfortable. And there were a few of the riders today that said on a longer trip, it would be the most comfortable bike of the 4. And I wouldn't necessarily disagree. I'd done a big trip around Wales on it. I say big trip, it's only, what, 500-600 miles in a weekend. But doing the long motorway stretches from Devon up to Wales, no problem at all. The bike will sit on the motorway really easily, really comfortable. The engine's smooth and refined. It's still got some power to really make those quicker overtakes in the outside lane. It's certainly by far the fastest bike here. I think what the engine characteristic is that it needs to rev. It likes to rev, and I think a few today said it was the one that needed the most gear changes in the slower stuff. You know, it's a bit lurchy, it's a bit snatchy down low. It likes to be on an open throttle. It likes to be ridden a bit more aggressive. So if that's a sort of personality type for a bike that appeals to you, then I think the KTM will suit you. I think if you're after a docile plodder, it's probably not the right bike. If you're after something a bit more exciting, a bit more spirited, I think it makes a great option. And I've really warmed to the KTM 390 Adventure. A, it's been reliable. B, it's been a really exciting road bike. I've fitted the SW Motec foot pegs to level off those pegs, so that's made it given it a better standing riding position. So I think off-road now it's got more potential or more comfort than it used to. And for me, from a suspension point of view, it's got the best suspension of the 4. You can really push on the trails if you can get comfortable, but when you are pushing on it, it's just so absorbent and controllable, even when you're carrying a good speed, and that's even with the TKC 70s. So all in all, the KTM 390 it's an exciting bike, and it depends if you want excitement in your life or if you don't. Unfortunately, nobody went for this as their final decision, I think, but they all made good cases for it. The GS310 Euro 5, now obviously I upgraded from the Euro 4 to the Euro 5 thinking that more people would like it, and I thought that the better throttle response and everything else would make more people like it. In today's environment, which is part of the course with the GS310, it gets overlooked. People, they just see it as a bit vanilla. It's a nothing bike. It doesn't stand out in any great area. And I've spent the last 2 days running it in and getting it serviced. So I've done about, say, what, 280, 300 miles in 2 days on it. And I think it's a shame that it gets overlooked in this one-day riding environment, because actually when you live with it day in, day out, and you are taking it on little road trips and things, it's actually a really good bike. It's really comfortable. The engine's willing, and more willing than the Euro 4. It feels stronger on the throttle, even though mechanically it's identical. It's just a reprogramming of the ECU. The handling's sweet on the road. And all in all, it's a very light, easy, manageable, comfortable bike to be on. It doesn't scream at you in any great capacity, but it just does an effortless job. So I jumped on again on the 300 Rally today, and I thought there's no way I would have liked to have gone pottering over Dartmoor like I did on the 310 yesterday, because it's a trail bike. You know, fundamentally that is a trail bike. There were a couple of guys today really liked it. One guy, I didn't think he'd like it. You know, short in the leg, slightly older than the others. But he loved it. He said it was exciting. It made him feel like he was on an adventure. Obviously, a few picked up on the suspension, soft suspension, and now it's a funny thing jumping off the other bikes say, jumping off the 310 or the 390 onto the CRF, it is a very tall, softly sprung bike, which hasn't got the greatest grace in the corners, and does wallow a lot. And when you hit the front brake, it dives a lot. So, you know, for me, it's a trail bike, and I wouldn't have liked to have gone meandering over Dartmoor on that as much as I did on that. Equally, if I was going trail riding on Dartmoor, I'd take that. So you really have to say, do I want a trail bike? Am I going to go off-road? If you are, the best bike for the job is that one. If you're not going to go off-road, is it the right job? As I've said in other videos, this 300 Rally and the 250 Rally before it, both came from riders who bought the bikes, did 500 or 600 miles, never went off-road, realised they bought the wrong bike and sold them cheap second-hand. You know, I think it's... I think people like the idea of the CRF, but, you know, it's a bike built for a purpose. And if you're not using it for that purpose, is it the right bike? Himalayan, so that got 2 likes. But in fairness, it didn't get the most applause throughout the day. People didn't rave about it as much as the other bikes, but I think at the end of the day, they just went, it's great value. I've enjoyed riding it. It ticks a lot of boxes. It's comfortable. The engine's rough and coarse, and some said mechanically it was the worst out of the 4, but they still thought, I don't know, for whatever reason, they just liked it and enjoyed riding it. And I think the type of riding we do on the on the A and B roads, the sort of type B roads of North Devon, I think they really suit the Himalayan, and they bring out its greatest strengths. Conversely, probably don't flatter the 390 quite so much, or the 300 Rally. So context is everything. And so if you're deciding on, or trying to choose between one of these 4 bikes, you've really got to think, what am I using the bike for? You know, what do I want? What's my intention? Equally, what type of person am I? Do I want to just potter around and get lost and do a bit of adventuring? Himalayan, great. Am I going to go trail riding? Do I want to get off-road and learn a bit of deep rut riding and getting lost on tighter trails? CRF's a good bike. Good bike, really good bike, actually. The 310 GS, you know, do you just want a bike that does its job? It's not got no frill to it. It's not got no real great excitement. It's not going to set the world on fire, but actually as a comfortable place to cover some miles, it's probably the best bike here. You know, that's what I felt after riding it the 200 and 300 miles the last few days. As a bike just to do an 150-mile day and breeze around some nice back roads and see some scenery, it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat. KTM 390, it's an exciting bike, but that asks a lot of you. It asks a lot of gear changes. It asks for a very progressive throttle and a softer input than the others. It's a more raucous, teenagery type of bike, and that's great. You know, it's a great for an hour or two's blast, but is it what you want day in, day out? Somewhere between all 4, there's a perfect bike. You know, there really is. But what we've got 4 very different bikes, all do very much do the same thing in different ways. The guys today couldn't really decide which they preferred. They for one minute they wanted the 300, and the next minute wanted the Himalayan. So it goes to show, if you're thinking of one of these bikes, don't beat yourself up. Try and make the most objective, conscious decision you can, then just go for it. I mean, obviously, come down here and ride them back to back. You're more than welcome. That's what they're here for. But yeah, just don't overthink it, because end of the day, they're all bikes. They've all got great strong points, and none of them are crap. None of them are terrible. None of them are going to make you hate them. You just do it differently. But what a lineup, eh? You know, 4,700. It's top side of 6 now, a bit pricey. Great deals on the 310 GS, 5.5. Great deals on the 390, 5.5. You know, so, or look on the second-hand market, $5,000 will get you any of these bikes, and they'll take you around the world. They'll do anything you want to do, really. So that's it. I'm going to get them clean, sorted out, ready for the next group. I've got an open day down here, 2nd of April. If anybody wants to come down, just have a cup of tea, coffee. There's a burger van outside. Give us a shout. All right. Look forward to seeing you down here. Take it easy. Bye.